a daily bread. Today, the Lord is speaking to all of us that we do all have enemies physically, and it's also rightful to say that we do not like them because they must have done something really bad to us, because of which they are become our enemies, and we do not like them. But it's not in our part to humiliate or take revenge on them or to hate them, because the Lord clearly mentions that we have to love our enemies, and it's on Lord's part that the Lord, the God, will take that revenge on your behalf on them and not you, because we humans see physically, and we see our enemies physically, and it's just to this dimension. But the Lord sees the powers that are working behind the enemies. We cannot fight with those powers, so the Lord intervenes for us, and He fights those powers, not just with those physical enemies, but with the powers, evil powers that are working behind those persons, and that's how we get victory. And but we physically, we just see the humans. What if that person is somebody else? Maybe instead of that person, somebody else might be in that place. Do we hate everybody, or do we humiliate everybody, or do we hate everybody? It's not in our part, because what happens when we hate them, humiliate them, or try to take revenge on them from our hands, they do not see us, but somewhere we are displaying the characteristics of Jesus through us, because whatever we are and however we behave, people see, carefully observe, and think that this is Christ. Okay, the characteristics of Christ. And when we do something wrong, they think that this is what characteristics of Christ is. But instead, when we do not humiliate them, but we do not take revenge on them from our hands, but just leave it on the Lord, and instead physically what we can do is we can show some kind of affection, not too much, but some kind of nominal humanity. And by this, they do not see us or our behavior or our characteristic, they see the Christ in us, and that's how they might be influenced, and they will know Christ. And that's how we are turning our enemies into friends and to saving their lives for Jesus. And that's how we are making, and this is also a way of preaching gospel and letting people know the real God, that is Christ. So whenever there are enemies around you, and you must have humiliated them beforehand in past, but today, because you know that it's not your part to humiliate them, if you're humiliating them, maybe the Lord will see our acts also and will judge us accordingly. So do not take it on your hand to take revenge, hate, or humiliate your enemies. Leave it to the Lord, and instead show some affection, humanity to them, so that they will know Christ that lives in you. In Jesus' name, amen.